PositiveMindset.tv, where each week we delve into the mindsets and see how they are creating our experiences. From our finances, our career, our children, our health, our relationships. Hi, my name is Leesa Myers, and I am so excited to have you here with us today. Today we are talking about the art and mastery of self, entering the magic zone. Have you ever felt like you were living a lie? When asked how you are doing today and you said, fine, when you really were feeling anxious, fearful, stressed, a failure, unhappy. Today during our short time together, I'm going to show you how your thoughts and beliefs are creating your feelings, which are creating your actions and reactions. These actions and reactions are creating your results. So let me ask you, would you like to have more money, have more time, have better relationships? If you're in business, have more clients, or just have more fun? So who is Leesa? I had been in business for 4 years. I quickly went into debt, making my business my baby, and sadly, my identity. I was coming from a belief of not being good enough. I did not know that my beliefs was running my life, and that my belief, through that, I was making unwise choices. My thought was, I'm going to have the successful business and I will be a success. But in truth, I was scared of failing and showing everybody I was a failure. Unfortunately, I closed that business and filed business and personal bankruptcy. I felt trapped, hated my life, living in constant fear of showing everybody what a failure I was, and even had thoughts of suicide. This started my path of self-healing and discovery, which has been going on now for 15 years. Through this path, I became an interfaith minister, a science of mind practitioner, a trained hypnotist, a coach, mentor, trainer, author, speaker, TV and radio host, learning from many, many mentors, teachers, and coaches. Albert Einstein said, you cannot fix the problem with the same consciousness that created it. Let me repeat that. You cannot change the problem with the same consciousness that created it. I had to have others help me see that my thoughts were creating my reality and my results. Portia Nelson was an amazing American popular singer, songwriter, actress, and author. She wrote one of her books called There's a Hole in My Sidewalk, autobiography in 5 short chapters. She was born in 1920 in Brigham City, Utah, later died in 2001 in New York. So let me share you those 5 short chapters. So chapter 1, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It's not my fault. It takes forever for me to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it's not my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit, but my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. What is your hole in the sidewalk? What is it that you keep falling into? What is it that you're struggling with that keeps you cycling around and around and around? What thoughts do you have about yourself that you are experiencing over and over again? This cycle that we fall into, first we're at the top of the mountain, everything is amazing, we have arrived. And then we have a thought and it stops us. And all of a sudden we can feel like we're being pulled in different directions. And everything is getting a little cloudy. And then we feel like we're being chained to this thought and we just can't move and we just can't get out. And we feel like we're imprisoned. And we just feel like we're lost. And then we have another thought that maybe some things can change. And we start moving forward. And as we're moving forward, we get back up on top. And we feel amazing and wonderful. And then we have another thought. And we keep this cycle going around and around and around and around. Can you identify with that? Or am I just here by myself? I know that I've done this with weight. I know I've done it with exercising. I know that I face those things in a lot of aspects of my life. Where I'm going to do it differently this time. It's going to work this time. And I start that same cycle over and over and over again. So today I'm going to show you 3 steps on how to move from here to where you want to be. So step 1 is to identify. Again, what is the one thing that you want to change in that cycle? What is the one thing that keeps cycling? First, you have to identify what's going on. What do you struggle with that you wish would change? And then what is one goal you would like to achieve in the next 30, 60 days? That's a stretch that takes you out of that nice comfort zone. One thing is that first of all, you have to know where you are and then know where you want to be for anything to change. So you have to first identify where you are and then where you want to be. And in that process is called a gap. And in that gap comes step 2. And step 2 is about programming. And programming is about filling that gap of understanding our mind thought, our mindsets, our what's going on, our beliefs, our attitudes. We were born with a fresh mind that records everything that happens in the womb and beyond. Our minds are a lot like a computer, but it doesn't have the virus detector. We take information in and keep it in. We learn from our experiences, from what we hear and see and feel. Just as when we turn on that computer, there's a lot of programs that are running that we don't see, that tells the program to turn on, that has the color, that shows it where to go next. And that's the same thing with us, that we have those internal programs that we're not even aware of. So what are some of the programs that you've experienced in your life? The feeling of I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not heard. Everyone else has things that come to them with ease. Everyone's lucky, and I'm not. I have to work hard to get ahead. I am sick and tired of my life. Nothing ever goes right for me. What are those words that you are saying over and over and over to yourself? The programming is stored in a part of the brain called the medulla. The medulla comes in the lower part of the brain. It's also known as the reticular activating system, the reptilian brain. This part of the brain is called the fight or flight mode. Where it's always trying to keep you safe. It keeps you in that comfort zone. telling us, don't even try. It's not going to work anyway, so just don't stress yourself out. Just don't worry about it. So there's an experiment, and you can go onto YouTube and look at it. It's called the flea story. It's training fleas. And so basically they take these fleas, they put them in a jar, and then they screw the lid on the jar and walk away for 3 days. Well, what happens to those fleas is they come up and they bump their head, and bump their head, and bump their head, and bump their head. And after 3 days, they're trained that they can only jump so far. So after the 3 days, the lid is taken off and taken away, and those fleas only jump so far and never jump out of the jar. Now the interesting thing with this is that they train the baby fleas to only jump so high. So all the fleas continue to stay in the jar, not realizing that they can jump out. My friend was also telling me about barracuda and feeder fish, that they put both these fish in the same aquarium and they put a glass divider. So those barracuda go to eat, hit that divider. They go to eat, hit that divider. They go to eat, hit that divider, and pretty soon they realize that they can only go so far, and they learn to swim in that amount of space. After 3 days, they take out that glass divider, and those fish actually come out nose to nose, but they never go any farther. So where have you been hitting your head? Where have you stopped moving forward and just said it's not worth it? It's not going to work anyway. So how do you go from moving past the medulla, that part of the brain, and move into the creative frontal lobe of the brain? They've actually done scientific studies where they have had people that are in that fear mode, in that fight or flight, and that medulla part has lit up. And then when the people have moved from there to the creative mode, into the being inspired and motivated and wanting to move, the frontal lobe lights up. So are you living in the medulla, or are you living in your frontal lobe? So how can you change from moving from that medulla into the frontal lobe? A vision board is powerful. It helps you to see what it is that you want to create. Pictures are the fastest way for the brain to understand where it's moving to. Affirmations or positive statements or declarations is another way of moving past those fears, moving past that comfort zone. The fastest way I know for moving to that medulla into the creative mode is positive change hypnosis. You can find more about that going to leesamyers.com. And I work with clients creating their own positive change hypnosis CD. And then also another one is keeping a gratitude journal. It is shown that gratitude is one of the highest energies of moving people forward. After we've gone through the programming, so identifying and programming, then the next step is create. If your thoughts are creating your feelings are creating your actions, and your actions are creating your results. First, find out what it is that you want to create. How do you feel about what it is that you want to create? Get those feelings and those ideas and get excited about it to move forward. What actions can you begin to take today to move you into your new goal? That energy and that emotion, and a lot of times they'll say that emotion is energy in movement. So getting excited about something helps you to move forward into what it is you want to create. So again, it's identify, program, and create. And as I tell my clients, again, your thoughts, your feelings are creating your actions or reactions, which are creating your results. If you're not happy with those results, check me out. I invite you to visit leesamyers.com. And again, if you like what you hear, please share it with others on Twitter, Facebook, Google+. And until next week, you are creating your life and your relationships. If you're not happy with the results, I can't help. So again, go to positivemindset.tv and fill out a form, or you can go to leesamyers.com and receive a free relationship strategy session with me today. Until next week, you make the world a better place